But, and maybe it's not all the way because of this guy, but Harrison Barnes left the game after he checked out near the end of the third, didn't play at all in the fourth, out with a right quad contusion. He was limited in practice on Tuesday. And as of recording this, we don't know the status for Wednesday's game, but it's plausible that he could miss it. First of all, he was doing a good job, as he's done lately, of getting to the line, even though, as we were pointing out, the Kings were missing from the line. But his presence and his abilities and kind of ability to kind of take charge and kind of make the right play, especially when things kind of get stagnant or muddy, I think that factored into it as well. And now we're looking at a situation where, well, because Barnes hurt the quad, it seemed like after he picked up that steal, I think in the second quarter, and then went for the layup, it was contested. I think it ended up being a goaltend. And he was grabbing at his leg. And I don't know. It depends how serious it is, but it kind of, first of all, you wonder about the injury, but then also you wonder about, oh, that's going to exploit a little bit of a roster hole, or at least kind of like shine a bigger light on it. No,
dude. There's so much talk about the backup center position to Sabonis, but I'm still not over cutting Kent Bazemore in training camp when Barnes hasn't had a damn backup at the small forward position since being in Sacramento. And except for the half the season Kent Bazemore was in Sac. And now Barnes is, might miss a game, or he's going to need limited time. And especially with the quad, Barnes, he just has that habit of slowing down during the season. And this quad probably won't help that and may lead to that. So, yeah, if you're down your small forward, such an important position, it just makes me scratch my head still, knowing that we picked up Chima Moneke. And I like Chima Moneke, but I mean, why? The dude's never going to play. He got one chance earlier this season, and he's going to get chances in garbage time. You could have had a legit wing player that could have filled in for Barnes, even giving him rest off the bench or coming in last night, like when you need a legit small forward. It just, I don't know. Can you sign someone? Can you cut Moneke? It's frustrating to me still off of that. It made no sense. And it just felt like Brown was playing favorites. Like the one downside to Brown so far, in my opinion, is that he just chose all his Nigerian players, which I get, but it's going to show up now if Barnes misses some time, because I think Bazemore for sure should have made the team, or at least some backup small forward. But, here we are, and Barnes might miss some time now, so, or at least need a legit backup, if anything. So
yeah. Well, you don't want an injury to linger. We were just talking about Fox.
Yeah.
So you want, especially in Barnes is 30. So, while that's not ancient, it's not young. So you want to give him the adequate time off to be able to rest. I mean, again, we are kind of working with the situation where it's not like he didn't practice on Tuesday. He was limited, so that's a good sign. But again, it's just like, you don't want to make that worse. You don't want that to linger. You want to just nip that in the bud now. One would hope, especially because Barnes is so important to the team, and if you don't have depth there, might as well minimize the ability for that to get exploited. But I mean, you bring up a good point that it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I guess the question that I have now is like, well, what's the starting lineup look like if Barnes isn't in it? Does Herter slide down to the 3? Does Murray slide up to the 3?
Does Davis start at the 3?
Or does Davis start at the 3? Does Okpala start?
I know.
I almost feel like just based on what you said, and I totally agree, that he just has so much faith in guys. Although he was pretty blatant about the other night about Chimezie Metu not working out at the 5, as he was really everybody, which we'll get to. But that that just kind of like almost undying trust he has in them. And I get it. We've always pointed it out with Maneke, there's upside. Akpala, there's upside. Metu. There's something with Metu. But it's just like this is exactly what you're worried about. And man, I don't know. It's just like I feel like, well, as I was saying there, it's like I do feel like that would mean Akpala would be getting probably the start, in my opinion, based on that trust alone.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they're playing like a talented wing, because then you could justify it like, well, he can go out there and check the guy and keep him from getting off to a good start, and which could help. As you saw with Charlotte, the ability for all 4 or 5 of their starters to get it going early. That was kind of, I guess, not Plumlee, but Nick Richards. But you want to prevent that. And so I guess you could see the justification there, but it's a problem. And now it's like it's next man up, but it's like now the backup that wasn't there is doubly not there. You know what I mean? Because guys have to step up, and I don't know. Maybe since everybody has some faith to varying degrees in Keita, maybe you see some of that in the rookie Keon Ellis. Kind of play the wing a little bit, I guess, but I don't know. It's just make a good point. That could be the biggest critique of Mike Brown, favoring less experienced guys instead of sticking with a guy like Bazemore, which we said, he didn't have a great year in LA last year, but it's like still that is the most viable backup the Kings have had for Harrison Barnes since HB's been here. So I don't know. It stands out. We'll see what happens, but going forward, you can only hope that this injury is not a big deal and that Barnes is going to be fine. But if it's not, they got to be able to manage it. And there's going to be a need, whether it's load management or a game or two off, there's going to be a need for somebody to step up, and it's going to be very hard to fill in Harrison Barnes' shoes with what the Kings have.
Yeah. And like you already said, HB, he's a very important player. And you have to plug in someone, like even like 50 to 75% of him, right? But unless you honestly move Herter to the 3 and I think you start Herter at the 3 and then start Davis at the 2. I think that's your best call, personally. Mm-hmm. Akpala, I don't know. I just don't trust his offense. And Davis,
I agree. I agree. I just think Mike Brown would do that.
Yeah, because he loves his boys. He loves his national team boys. But I don't know. We'll see. Luckily, Herter can play the 3 decently, but I don't know. Davis has looked good as of late when he gets his minutes too, so that's good. But
yeah, but Davis, it's just like it's nice again Davis. Though. Mm-hmm. Again, it's just like Barnes, defensive player of the game, 2 nights in a row to close that road trip. That's right, and for good reason. I mean, he shut down Siakam in the second half, and then he guarded Bogdanovich in Detroit, and those are essentially the 2 best players on each of those teams. Mm-hmm. And he was great, and it's just like it's so nice to see. And we've pointed this out for the last couple of weeks, wondering when or if he'll get a contract extension. Is that it seems like the best bet given the limited options. That defensive end cannot be ruled out or forgotten, because he's so good on that end too, just as a team defender, an experienced player, and what he's done over the last couple of games has really shown that he, against certain matchups, he's really good. He's got great size and ability to disrupt guys like that, and that's really impressive. So I don't know, that just kind of underlines this borderline reason to worry.
I guess we'll find out sooner or later on if he's going to play or miss time. But at one point this season, Barnes is going to miss a game, right? We're going to have the same exact conversation. So even if he doesn't miss tonight, he's gonna miss a game eventually this year. I don't know when the last time Barnes played all 82 games. And he doesn't. I don't know. I can't remember if he misses. Like I said, I think he usually goes down during the middle of the season. Last year he played 77 games. But that's like 5 games you miss without that small forward. So he's played 82 games once in his career. And he's usually up there in the 70s during full seasons. Or 2021 he played 58. I forget if that's a shortened season. I don't think it was it?
Well, yeah, it was. That was right off
It was.
of
That was the
2021,
year after
22.
COVID. 2021.
Well, didn't that get cut short?
I think it got cut short, yeah. But I think there was like at least 72 games that year.
Right.
But he only played 58, so he missed some time. But my point is he's going to miss time this year. Even if it's not tonight, he's going to miss time eventually. And we're going to have the same conversation. So, I don't know, maybe we'll see our first lineup without Barnes tonight, and maybe it works out well, but I'm still upset that Bazemore didn't make the team.
It's a
That's
good
all
point.
you got to say.
It's a good point.